in this chapter. The plan is that you will have your test first half Monday, and your second half will be Wednesday. Okay, so anyway, a little bit about the binomial theorem. All right, binomial theorem is based on Pascal's triangle, and what we have up here is actually Pascal's triangle. And so what I want you to do is look at how you see each of these numbers formed. And with that in mind, I want you to tell me what maybe the next row would be.
1, 9,
Okay.
36.
36, good. 84. And so really what you're doing is you're adding the two terms up above. So to get 9, we're adding 8 and 1. To get 36, we're adding 8 and 28. To get 84, we're adding 28 and 56. And so that's how Pascal's triangle is formed. You add the two preceding ones up above. Okay? And so if you notice, we've got 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1. Where these are familiar is that these are actually the coefficients for x plus y squared, for x plus y cubed, for x plus y to the 4th, and for x plus y to the 5th, and so on, and you get the picture. And so really what those do is those tell you what each of the coefficients are going to be, because if I were to FOIL out x plus y quantity squared, that would be 1x squared plus 2xy plus 1y squared. Okay, and so that's where the 1, 2, 1 comes from. And so if I were to cube x plus y quantity cubed, what that's going to do is that's going to be 1x cubed plus 3x squared y plus 3xy squared plus 1y cubed. And so that's what those numbers are. And so this triangle actually has lots of applications. This is just one of them. And so let's go ahead and look at what the binomial theorem actually is. The binomial theorem is a convenient way to express a binomial raised to a power as a polynomial in simplest form. Now this is going to look really confusing. Okay, it's going to look really confusing, but we're going to talk about it, and it's actually not that bad. So how can I find what a plus b to the n power is? Now notice n is any number. So it could be a 2, it could be a 3, it could be a 4, it could be a 5, it could be a 6. And so this theorem is a shortcut way instead of having to FOIL out. So instead of us having to FOIL out something to the 8th power, I can use the binomial theorem. So now, where do we start? We always start with that number. And that C means choose. Okay, on your calculator, there's a C button. Okay, it's located as NCR. It's located under the Math menu, PRB. So, under the Math, is it PRB or PROB?
It's PRB.
PRB. And then it should say NCR,
Yeah.
and it should say NCR. That is where the C is. Okay. All right, and so notice, I'm always going to start with A, my first term here, and I'm going to take it to the power first. B to the 0. B will always be to the 0 power first. My next one will be N choose 1. That C means choose, if those of you are watching wondering what did she mean when she said choose. 1. A to the n minus 1. So basically here I subtract 1 from the exponent. So I'm subtracting 1 from A, and I'm adding 1 from B. A little key here. These will always add to n. So on the next one, I'm subtracting 1 more from A and adding 1 more for B. Once again, they will always add to n. Now go ahead and get this formula down to find the kth term. We will use this later. But how we find the kth term is I do n choose k minus 1, and then a to the n minus k minus 1, and then b to the k minus 1. Now that's probably not going to make a whole lot of sense either until we look at a problem. Biggest thing I want you to get here, whatever number is here matches with the power of b. Okay. These match. Or these are the same. Okay. Let's just change this and put are the same, that way you can see it. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at an example. All right, find each binomial coefficient. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and just use the NCR button on our calculator. So once again, we find it by doing math, PRB, and it says NCR. Okay. So how you're going to go ahead and enter this in is you're going to hit the 5 first, then you will hit the NCR button, and then you will hit 2. So refresh that again. You're going to hit the number 5. All right, then you're going to go to the math, PRB, NCR, and you're going to type in 2. So this is what your screen should look like. And when you do that, you get your answer to be 10. There you go. That's the binomial coefficient, 5, choose 2. Now this one down here below, can somebody guess how I'm going to enter this in? 6, choose 3, right. Now a little key when we're doing this choosing, that first number is always bigger than the second. It will never be less than the second. Okay, what'd you get that to be? 20, nice job. There you go. Okay. Questions? Think you can handle that? Okay, so now we're going to expand one of these, and I'm going to warn you, it's going to take a little room. Okay? So, very first thing that we're going to start is we're always going to start with the power first. So I'm going to start with 3. Now what this is going to equal is this is going to equal, 3, choose 0. So there you go. 3, choose 0. That's the very first place I start. X to the 3rd power, 4 to the 0 power. So go ahead and get that down. And then we'll go ahead and look at the rest of it. I'm going to go ahead and actually cover this up so you can't see the rest.
What's the 0 for
You
choose?
always start with 0. Okay?
In your calculator, what do you
Just a 0. Yep. So 3, choose 0, x cubed, 4 to the 0 power. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my next one. So don't simplify that yet. We'll simplify that in a little bit. So my next statement is going to be 3, choose what? What do you think? 1. So I'm gradually going to increase, and I'm going to make that number bigger. So the next one after that would be 3, choose 2, and 3, choose 3. So 3, choose 0. And now, what am I going to do with the x? I'm going to make that power lower. So it will now be x squared. My 4 power is going to be higher, so it'll be 4 to the 1st. Because remember, what do those two always have to add up to in this problem? Right. Okay, so those two here, these always add to 3 in this problem. All right, so let's look at the next part of the problem. The next one will be 3, choose 2. Good. X to the 1st, because I'm subtracting 1 on the x's. What am I doing with the 4? 4 to the 2nd. Okay? Plus, what comes next? 3, choose 3. X to the 0, 4 to the 3rd. And so the question might be, where do you stop? You stop when those two, when these two things here are the same. You stop when those are the same.
So, like a number of, like, or the power up there is going to be like 1 more than that, usually.
Yes. What do you mean one more than that?
Like the third, there's gonna be 4 parts in that equation.
Yep. If you didn't catch what Kale was just asking, since this is a power of 3, am I always going to have 4 individual parts, like 1, 2, 3, 4? And the question is yes, or the answer is yes. So if this would be to the 4th power, you would have 5 components. You're always going to have 1 more. So now let's start simplifying. So on your calculator, what is 3 choose 0?
1.
1. So I have 1. I have x cubed. What is 4 to the 0 power? 4 to the 0 power is just 1, right? Okay, what's 3 choose 1? 3. X squared times 4. What's 3 choose 2? 3. X times, what's 4 squared? 16. What's 3 choose 3? 1. X to the 0. 1. And then 4 cubed. 64. Good. So the last thing I need to do now is just individually simplify. Okay, I've kind of written out all the individual components from each of the terms. And so my first term, what will my first term be? X cubed. What will my next term be? 12x squared. Very good. What was my next term?
3x.
3 and 16.
48x.
48x, yep. And then my last term will be 64. And there you go. Right, now, the thing is we took a little longer doing that. There is another option to solving x plus 4 quantity cubed. And what could you do? You could do this. X plus 4 times x plus 4. Get an answer. Take that times x plus 4. So you could do that. But obviously, you know, come test time, I'm probably going to ask you one that would be a little longer, like maybe to the 5th or the 6th power. So this was where we started. Let's go ahead and look at another one and see what we do. So this is m minus 3n to the 4th power. So once again, we always have the option. We could write out m minus 3n 4 times and multiply it out. But trust me, that gets really, really confusing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start, okay, with 4 choose 0, right? That's where I start. M to the 4th, negative 3n to the 0. Because I always start with 4 choose 0. What will my next one be? 4 choose 1. What power of m do I now have?
The third.
Third. What power of negative 3n do I have?
First.
The first, because remember, what do those two always add up to be in this problem? They always add up to be 4, because my highest power here is 4. Okay, so the 3 and 1 have to be 4. So my next statement will be 4 choose what? 2. Second, negative 3n to the second. Okay. What's my next statement then, Mason, since you're on a roll? Plus, we'll see how you do. 4c, look real quick. 4c3, good. M to the first, good. Negative, good. Okay, plus, what's my last one going to be, guys? 4 choose 4.
M to the 0.
Yep.
Negative
Negative 3
3
into the 4th, good. Okay, so now all we have to do, once again, is just individually go through and find what they are. So I know 4 choose 0 is 1. So I have 1 m to the 4th. Negative 3n to the 0 is 1. What is 4 choose 1?
4.
4. So I have 4m cubed times negative 3n. What is 4 choose 2? 6. So I have 6m squared times, this is going to give me 9n squared. 4 choose 3. M to the first, and then this one will give me negative 27n cubed. And what's my last statement gonna be? 4 choose 4 is 1. 1. What's negative 3 to the 4th? 81. And then n to the 4th. So then now let's simplify. What's my first term gonna be? M to the 4th. Okay?
-12, and
Okay. This statement, 6 and 9.
54,
Okay. This one, 4, negative 27. Yep. Okay. And then last but not least, what do I get? 81 and to the 4th. There you go. Good job. Yeah. Well, it might be a little bit longer, but the longer ones I'm not going to have do like the m and the negative 3. Okay. So now this one says find the specified term. Okay. So I want to find the 4th term. So there are 2 ways to do this. One, I could do the whole expansion, which is what I just did in the last 2 problems, and then just say, okay, the 4th term is this. Or I could use that formula that we had. Okay. You guys got that formula written down? Okay. So it was n choose k minus 1, wasn't it? And then it was a to the n minus k minus 1. And then b to the k minus 1. So now, what term am I trying to find? I'm trying to find the 4th term. Okay? So in this case, this is actually k. So this is actually 4, this is 6. So it's going to be 6 choose what? 6 choose 3, because it's 4 minus 1. Okay. In this case, I'm going to do x to the, and the question is, well, what do you do x first? I always do my second term first, because I know the second term in this case always has to have a matching power, right? So my second term has to have a power of 3. If my second term has a power of 3, what does my first term have to have? Power of 3 as well, because what do I know about those 2 numbers? They have to equal 6. So now what's 6 choose 3? What? 6 choose 3 is 20. Okay, so I have 20 x cubed. Negative y cubed is just negative y cubed. So my final answer, I'm going to combine the negative and the 20 and get negative 20 x cubed y cubed. Okay. I think I got another one here. Let's try. Oh, go back. There we go. So we're going to find the 6th term. Once again, I could go through and do this, all right, and I would end up having 9 different terms, or I could use that formula. So the formula in this case will be 8 choose what? 8 choose 5, okay, because we always go 1 less than that. And so in this case, I've got 3x, oh, got it, 3x to what power? And 2y to what power? Yeah, now remember, the 2y always has to have the 5 in this case, and the 3x has to have the 3.
Okay, so the second number always goes to the last.
The
term.
second number always goes to the last term.
Okay, so
Okay, if you didn't catch that, that's why I always start with the second, because those match. Okay, and so that's kind of like your little key, and then so you go to the first term and you say, okay, what does that have to be if they add together to give me 8?
So we don't have to like actually use everything.
No, no.
So we can just use the
Okay.
always.
Okay, yes, so what's 8 choose 5? 56. Now I have to do 3x quantity cubed. 3x quantity cubed is 27x cubed. Now what I need to do is 2y to the 5th, which is actually 32y to the 5th. So now, in order to find my answer, I have to multiply 3 terms. 56, 27, and 32, which is what? 48,000 what? 384. So 48,384 x cubed y to the 5th is actually the 8th term if I would, or the 6th term if I would expand that. So the formula's a lot better. All right, so this is what you need to do for me. Okay, once again, this will be due Monday. Okay, this is going to be due Monday because remember, we're going to have our test Monday. I better put that here. Okay, so test will be Monday and Wednesday. Test will be Monday and Wednesday. So Monday's test will be over the first half, Wednesday's test will be over the second.
Is there anything that I need to?
Mm,